Hi, my name is Pete Hahn, and thank you for watching this tutorial video. Be sure to visit www.hahn-tech.com for the full library of video tutorials. I hope this video increases your knowledge and helps you become more efficient with this topic, whether for home or work. Please support this channel by sharing these videos with your friends and colleagues. Hi guys, welcome to today's video. This video we'll be using the SLM Ribbons study, and the study has a built-in momentum indicator. You can see in the background on the chart to the right we have different colored bars. You've got green for an uptrend, purple for a neutral, and red for a downtrend. This was prompted by a viewer requesting through the Hahn-Tech contact page that we build a custom scan using the momentum as the filter for their custom scan. They're using another indicator for their trigger, buy or sell, and they want to use the momentum indicator found in the SLM ribbons as the filter to determine when that signal will be taken or ignored. So by the end of this video, you will see how we take the SLM ribbons momentum and put that into a custom scan, and we'll assemble the custom scan and we'll pick an arbitrary trigger. And the trigger that I'll be using for this will be based on a MACD histogram crossover. It's built into the Thinkorswim platform, and I'll show you how to put that together. You can substitute any trigger you like. When we build the custom scan, you'll see how you can do that. Okay, before we get into the chart and the details of how to set this up, let's take a moment for a little disclaimer. And that disclaimer is, I am not a professional trader. Nothing in this video should be interpreted as an advertisement or a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. I'm not here to show you how to make a profitable trade in the Thinkorswim platform. I'm not here to show you profitable setups. What I'm here to do is show you how to make the best use of your Thinkorswim platform to get the most out of it and a better quality time with your charts instead of quantity time. Great, so now that that's over, let's talk about the SLM ribbons. SLM ribbons, as the user posted for me, there was a link to a video on the Tasty Trade website. Well, that link is now broken, and you know, as I think about this video, you might be watching this video 6 months or several years later. So I think it's probably best just to show you how it is currently without really providing you a link. You probably just need to do a Google search on SLM ribbons and Tasty Trade and try to find something that works. In this particular case, we've got a video that didn't download, and I tried this several times, hit refresh, tried it on the iPad, still doesn't work. They recently, I think, reorganized their website, which is probably why the original link provided by the viewer is broken. And so it might be a couple of days before this is available again. So you've got the video on Tasty Trade someday, eventually, that will show you how it's used. You also have this website over here, and that is AskSlim.com. And he is the author and originator of the code. And you can see on this page, and it's simply https://AskSlim.com/slim-ribbon, and that's the website address. And if that link doesn't work, then you probably have to Google it to get the current link. So it's the SLM ribbon. He calls it here the Slim ribbon. What we've got is instructions here, and he posts the code so that you can go ahead and grab this code from his website and load it directly onto your Thinkorswim platform. I'll show you how to do that very quickly here. We'll just copy and paste. All I'm doing is clicking and dragging with the mouse all the way down to the bottom, and then we're going to right click and select copy. Alright, so now we're done with the web browser. We'll go to the Thinkorswim platform. Before we get started, I should probably explain this is the first video that I've done on a Thinkorswim desktop application since Thinkorswim redesigned and repainted their entire application. So most of the stuff is still there exactly where it was before, so all the previous videos are working very well to instruct people on how to do things. So because this is my first video doing on the new one, I think I'll go into a little bit more detail so that you guys can see exactly where all those bits and pieces are so that you know how to do a custom scan on the Thinkorswim platform. And as an added bonus at the end, I think I might even throw in, it depends on time, but I think I might even throw in, I'll show you guys how to take this SLM Ribbon momentum and put it into a watch list column so that you can scan through a watch list and instantly see which stocks are trending up, trending down, or in a neutral position based on this indicator. Yeah, I think I might throw that in there at the end, so be sure to stick around. Don't leave early. Alright, so we copied all of that data over to the clipboard, and now we go to Studies and we select Edit Studies. And what you would do then is click New. These instructions are on the website from AskSlim. And under New Study, you go ahead and erase any data that might be there. And then we're just simply going to right click and select Paste. That's it. That's all there is to it. Go ahead and put the name of the study however you like, and then click OK. I'm going to click Cancel in this case because I've already done that. But you would hit OK, and then you would hit Apply and OK, and then your chart would appear like this, minus the study at the lower bottom here. Now, this study at the bottom, what I'm going to do is post that as a link in the video description. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it's in the video description below the video. If you're viewing this on the Hahn-Tech website, then the link will be embedded within the description above the video link. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, and I'll explain what I've done and show you how this lower indicator is going to give us our scan signals and help us filter our triggers. Okay, we'll dig right in here. We'll go back to Studies and Edit Studies. You can see I've got the Scan SLM Ribbon indicator. That is what's plotting in the lower subgraph. I'm also showing a MACD histogram, but that is turned off in this particular case. I will turn that on later after we build the scan and get the output and start looking at some of the stocks. Okay, so for now, let's look at the code for the Scan SLM Ribbon. I'll go ahead and press the script icon, and that will open up the code window. And if you scroll through here, just a bunch of code, but what I've done is I've essentially turned off the stuff that would normally plot in the upper graph. I've turned off the stuff that would change the color of the price bars, and I've turned off the moving averages, but all the data is still there. I've essentially done that by changing plot statements to def statements. Def is short for define. You can see at the top here I've also added declare lower. That forces it to automatically plot as a lower subgraph. So let's scroll to the bottom, and you will see this is right from the code, the plot that is used by the code to color the bars of the chart. So this is the line of code that will show whether you have green, whether you have purple, or whether you have red bars on the chart. So it indicates your up, neutral, or down momentum. So then I've got these down here. These are just comments, and the comments are what will be used in the scan. So when you do a scan, you'll follow these instructions right here. When using this as a custom scan, change the word plot to def, then remove the pound sign from in front of one of the plot scan statements below. So we'll show you how that's done. We're going to copy and paste this right into a scan window. But before we do that, let's go back to the chart. I'm going to press cancel here. I'm going to press cancel here. And I'm going to explain to you exactly what this adaptation is doing. Essentially, you can line this up, and you can see here is the first green bar, and here's the last green bar. You can see that corresponds with the line, the blue line in the bottom subgraph, where the value is set to 1. Okay? And when the bars are purple, as you see from here to here, then in that case, the plot on the lower subgraph is set to 0. So it plots right there in the middle. That's a neutral. And then when you've got bars that are red, so you can see the first bar is red here and the last red bar is here, well, that corresponds in the lower subgraph to a value of -1. You can see that from there to there, right there, okay? That's essentially what it is. It's assigning a value of 1 for an uptrend, -1 for a downtrend, 0 for neutral. So the scan is simply picking up these little movements right here. All right, so let's go back to Studies, and we'll go to Edit Studies and click the script icon, and then we'll scroll to the bottom. Doesn't matter really, you can scroll, you can click and drag from the top or from the bottom, but I'm going to click and drag to select all of this code, and I don't need the top line for the scan, so I'm going to remove that. So right click and select copy, and then we're done. It's on the clipboard, so we can press cancel and cancel. And then let's go over here to the scan tab, and now I will show you how to build the scan using the SLM Ribbon momentum as the filter for your buy and sell signal. Okay, and all I've got here is a couple of filters set up that I use pretty much as a default for all of my custom scans. A filter based on the minimum and maximum price of stocks, and also a study filter based upon the average volume. I want the 10-day simple moving average of the volume greater than 500,000 shares. And that's just pretty much standard. You can see that I also filter by all stocks. So you go up here to select all stocks. This is a category here that's found right there. It's built in. And then the other one that I select is the category of all optionable. Okay, so I want all optionable stocks. Alright, so that's basically how I set up the scan, and then I add my further details to this base. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. You go ahead and click the Add Study Filter, and from that we're going to go ahead and select Custom down at the bottom. Now remember, we copied the code to the clipboard on the computer, so now we need to paste from the clipboard into the code window. And to do that, you'll go ahead and select the ThinkScript Editor tab of the code window, remove any data that is there already, and then you can right click and select Paste. Alright, now the scan will not function unless one of these two plots is turned on. Okay, so one is for shorts or momentum down, and the other is for momentum up. So what you'll need to do, and again the instructions are right here, what I'll do is I'll change the word plot to DEF. Now we get a little error because it says there should be at least one plot defined, and we're going to take care of that right now by removing the pound sign from in front of the plot scan statement, and that essentially removes it as a comment and changes it into a code statement. Essentially all it's doing is it's saying if the color bars variable value is set to 1 or a buy signal, then yes, otherwise no. That's all it is. And the momentum down plot scan is doing the same likewise with color bars. When it's equal to -1, which I've set here, which is a sell signal, then this plot scan down at the bottom will be set to yes, otherwise no. So this is going to only pick up when you've got a momentum up or a momentum down, depending on which one you unlock here, and it's going to ignore anything in the neutral. So neutral signals are also going to be excluded from both the momentum up and momentum down, just automatically here. Okay, so then you press OK, and now you're ready to go ahead and process a scan. Now, I told you that this is going to be used as a filter to determine when you take a long or when you take a short signal as per the viewer's request. You also would like to add a trigger. So you have a trigger that says on this particular bar I've got a signal to buy or a signal to sell. So before I do that, I want to run this scan and show you the results. You can see that we'll get quite a few results. Essentially all this is doing is it's picking up of all the stocks in my criteria which ones are momentum up. Okay, and that scan returned so many results that I actually had to reduce it down to show only 50, and I paused the video so not to take up a bunch of time on the video. But you can see that we've got a great many stocks to choose from here, and that's wide open. So now we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to apply a trigger. We're going to use a crossover study based upon the MACD histogram. And then we're going to rerun the scan, and you'll see that that's going to reduce the number of results we get dramatically. And to do that, we'll go ahead and press the button called Add Study Filter. And from that, we will select crossovers, and we'll navigate down to MACD histogram crossover. You can see, I'll pause here for a moment, and you can see that there's many different crossover examples. In any of those should be appropriate for this particular case, is working as a trigger. Whether it's going to make money or lose money, well, that's up to you to decide, and I'll leave that to you. So for now, I'll go ahead and select the MACD histogram crossover, and I need to change this because it's set default to a crossover from positive to negative, and I need to change that so that it matches the setting on the momentum indicator from the ribbon study. Remember that in that custom study we are selecting for momentum up. So we want a crossover on the MACD histogram to be from negative to positive, because that would be in the same direction as the momentum. So go ahead and press scan. And you can see the results came back pretty quickly, and we've got 3 to choose from. So let's go ahead and plot these, and I'll show them to you on the chart. We got ISBC, and we'll go ahead and turn on the MACD histogram study that I've got. We'll go to Studies, Edit Studies, and you see I've got the MACD histogram here as a lower subgraph. It's turned off, and all I've got to do is click that button that says Show Study, and then click OK and Apply, and click OK. So you can see, I'll zoom in here so that you can see the detail. And what it's picking up is on this current bar, you've got a positive histogram, and in the bar previous, you've got a negative. And that's what that trigger is picking up. That is the MACD histogram crossover. It's picking up a cross from below the zero line to above the zero line. And you can see it's occurring while the momentum indicator of the SLM Ribbon study is showing an upward trend. So we'll go back to scan, and we'll pick up KR, and you can see if I use the mouse cursor, it will be easier for you to see that histogram there is a red bar. You can see you've got to hover your mouse over it in order for it to show up, and then the next one is green, so that is also a MACD histogram crossover. And I think the last one was PBCT, and that was the chart we had showing when we started this. So PBCT. And again, you can see the ribbon momentum is up, green bars here, +1 value on the lower study. You can see that we had a red bar, and it turned to a green bar on its current close. Okay, so that's essentially it. Showed you how to go ahead and take that code from the SLM ribbon and take the momentum portion of that, whether it's green bars or red bars, and then use that as a filter for some other study that you want to use as a trigger for buying and selling. If you wanted to flip this scan around, it would be simply a matter of going in and editing the code for the ribbon study. Scroll down to the bottom. You would go ahead and put a £sign in front of that plot statement, and then you go ahead and remove the £sign from the one that filters for momentum down. So you go ahead and click OK, and then remember that the MACD histogram, or whatever crossover that you select, would also need to be switched to match that, in this case a positive to negative. Now, who knows, somebody out there might say, well, maybe I want to use them opposing one another. Well, you know what, if you do that, maybe you find a way to make money. I don't know. I'm just doing here what would seem to make sense, but it doesn't mean that it's profitable. So go ahead and press the scan button and look at the results. You can see we've got many more results for the short side than the long side. Let's take a look at a couple of these. We've got AER. I wonder if there's anything else that jumps out at me here. Let's do GNRC and STX. Yeah. Okay, so we'll do GNRC. Alright, and there, that one is showing the momentum is down, and you've got a histogram that crosses from a green to a red bar. And let's see, we'll do STX. And there you've got some alerts going off on the SLM Ribbon study, so there's built-in alerts for that. And you can see that it's just recently turned from up momentum to down momentum, and at the very same time it's also had a MACD crossover. So you can see how that scan works. Okay, great. So those who have stuck around to this point in the video are going to get the benefit of me showing how to build this SLM Ribbon momentum into a watch list column. So stick around, that's what's coming next. Okay, I'm going to be adding that custom column over here to a watch list on the left. The one on the bottom here, I'll go ahead and drag that up, make that a little bit larger, and then I'll go ahead and select a watch list that has maybe a few more stocks in it. It's got a very good selection there, very good. Okay. Alright, so let me show you how to do this. Now we'll go back to the scan screen and we'll go ahead and pick up that code. So we'll hit the edit button here for the ribbon study, and we'll go ahead and just copy and paste all that. So we'll just go ahead and click and drag to select all of that, and we'll select right click and select copy, and we can press cancel here because we didn't need to save any of that. Now the watch list here, if you right click over the column heading symbol, if you right click across that, then you'll get an option for customize. The other way that you can customize is you can click the gear icon over here to the right. It's a little tougher to see on a lot of monitors, so really you can do it just the old way. This is the way it was in the older videos, and you just right click over symbol and select customize. Now from here you can add and remove columns as you wish, and what we're going to do is we're going to select custom quotes. On your platform you'll notice that you'll have custom 01, custom 02, 03, 04, all the way up I think to custom 19 or something, or custom 20. What I've done, as you can see, is I've already created a whole bunch of custom columns, and what I do is I name them something that helps me to understand their aggregation period and what their makeup is. So in this case we're just going to take custom 01. I'm going to click the scroll icon, and I'm going to go to this ThinkScript editor, and I'm going to select whatever data is there. Yours might be different, and just erase it. We don't need it. Then we can right click and select paste. Now I'm going to leave it custom 01 because I don't need to really name that. I'm not going to keep it for anything. You can scroll down to the bottom, and we have an invalid statement here. It looks like we forgot to pick up the semicolon when we copied, and that will fix that. I want to turn this plot off anyway, so I'll put a pound sign in front of that, and I'll turn on the one for momentum up. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and drag some text in from another editor that I've got here, and we'll go ahead and right click in the code window and select paste. And this statement here is going to be included with the download. The code that you download from the link in the video description will automatically have this, because I really don't think that this background color assignment is going to impact the scan or the lower subgraph indicator in the least bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it in there. And in fact, so you guys aren't confused when you see this, I'm going to instead put this underneath the scan plots. So let's go ahead and cut that, and then we'll paste that. I'm just using keyboard shortcut here, and clean it up a little bit, and this will be the final version that you'll get. Now what I'm doing here is I'm saying essentially color the background green in the case that color bars, which is this variable up here, is equal to 1, or that is the momentum up. And then we're going to test to see if it's equal to -1, and if it is, then we're going to color it red. So it's essentially coloring it exactly like the chart, with the exception that neutral in this case I'm going to leave as black, and that way it just doesn't, it's completely unobtrusive. I think it blends in with the background of the rest of the things here. So let's go ahead and click apply and OK, and then we'll double click on custom 01 that we just modified, and double clicking it adds it to the current set of columns, and it's going to add it to the rightmost section of the watch list. When we press OK, then we'll see that it populates immediately on the right hand side. You can see you've got red, green, and black. If we scroll through that, you can see that it populates on every single stock. So let's go back to the charts, and let's test this out and make sure that it works correctly. Apple, you've got red in the watch list, red on the chart. That's great. Amazon, you've got green on the watch list, green on the chart. That matches too. Baidu, same thing. You've got green on the watch list, green on the chart. Let's look at Caterpillar. Caterpillar is black on the watch list. It's purple on the chart. That's a match because that's neutral. Okay, so that's how you take the code from the SLM Ribbon that we find on Tasty Trade as well as the AskSlim website. That's how we take that study and we build a momentum filter for buy and sell triggers on a custom scan. And I've also shown you how you can take that same code and add it as a custom watch list column so that you can quickly see from a list of stocks that you like to follow which ones are trending up, which ones are trending down, and which ones are neutral. So that's it for the video. I hope this was helpful. Please hit the like button. Don't forget. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. That's the best place to leave comments and questions because that benefits everyone else too. Okay? Thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate it. Take care. Thank you for watching this tutorial video. Be sure to visit www.hahn-tech.com for the full library of tutorials. I hope this video increases your knowledge and helps you become more efficient with this topic, whether for home or work. Please support this channel by sharing these videos with your friends and colleagues. Thanks and take care.